What's up world? Welcome to Talkchange channel. My name is Gloire Sebuyange. In this video I'm going to talk about the system. If you want to know more about the system that I mean, just stick around. By the system I literally mean the institutions that we have in the community that kind of shape the way we live, that shape the way we perceive life. And if we perceive life in a certain way, then we will behave in the same way, and by behaving in a certain way we produce certain results that go along with our belief system. Looking at these systems, I categorize them into four. First we have religion, culture, politics, and then education. All these four institutions, putting them together, constitute a strong social network that shape the way we see the world. And regardless of where you are, or regardless of your race, these systems might have shaped the way you perceive life in one way or another. Personally, growing up from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, there is a way I could be observing these systems, and I did really miss a point on how these institutions work and how they have been kind of interpreted, and very often just for the interest of knowledge producers, for the interest of the political elite class, for example. When I was at primary school, I was taught that a person called Diogo Cão, a Portuguese explorer, came and discovered the mouth of the Congo River. I couldn't question because, of course, I'm very young. When growing up, I started asking certain questions. In the same logic of education, we were taught that it was a crime to speak our mother tongues in class. Because, of course, as a former Belgian colony, we were taught to speak French because it was used during colonization as a common language to communicate in this part of the world. And then at school, we were never allowed to use our mother tongues because it's considered as a crime. And the system kind of emphasizes on it that if you speak your mother tongue at school, then you'll be punished. And in the same logic, I could never question this kind of practice until I start growing up, start questioning certain things. Why is it a crime for me to speak my mother tongue at school? Is it that, okay, my mother tongue is a crime? Does it mean that I'm a crime? Does it mean that I'm not enough? Does it mean? So asking these questions brought me to a conclusion that there was something wrong with the system. When I shift to the religious practice of the system in this part of the world, I could also miss some points where, if we take the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which is one of the richest countries in the world in terms of natural resources, in terms of tourist attractions, we still categorize it as one of the least developed countries in the world. This paradox, I never really understood it. The system, the way people are taught, you will see that even when you go to church sometimes, the whole narrative would go along, yeah, this is the will of God. If you guys don't have clean water, you don't have electricity, you don't have good roads, you don't have good health care system, yeah, there is a good place waiting for you somewhere out there that I don't know, and maybe you know. You go again to the political class. I wonder, how can we build strong institutions, working institutions, if we don't have leadership that has vision, that could make a plan even 25 years from now? How do we want to see this country? Let's say like the DRC, for example. How do we want to see this country 50 years from now? We have leaders motivating the whole community, citizens, to work hand in hand to achieve these visions, and then we fall into a political propaganda. You will see even the people you could think they're elites just going to vote for a specific person because the person is from their tribe. Yeah, there is nothing wrong voting for someone from a tribe, but if that's the only criteria for which you should vote for a person, then definitely nothing might change. But of course, we live in a system that kind of consumes our identity. That these are francophones, these are anglophones. That doesn't make sense at all. If I'm Congolese and then somebody has to call me a francophone, there is something wrong. I'm not a francophone. I'm a Congolese. I'm a Muhavu from Congo. So looking at how the system has taught us to believe in certain ways, to believe sometimes that we weren't enough, this kind of belief has not really helped us in most cases to be able to stand for ourselves, to be able to develop our nations, to be able to think for ourselves. Of course, we're living in globalization where nations are interdependent. We need to depend on each other to survive, to live. And of course, that's the African Ubuntu philosophy, which says that I am because we are. As Bishop Desmond Tutu once said, that nobody comes to this world complete. We all get complete through others. We learn through others. If we learn to speak, it's because there are people who are already speaking, using the language that we learn in our environment, in our community. So shifting this kind of perspective, African Ubuntu, which calls us to live together, also could be one of the alternative to, develop in this kind of globalized era, but while maintaining our beliefs, while maintaining our cultures, our values. But I guess this is time as Africans, as Congolese particularly, to start kind of valuing our cultures, our mother tongues, our traditions, because that's who we are. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you were inspired, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Talkchange, and be part of Solution. Peace.